with the cough in the lungs, still rolling with the moon day and the Jupiter hour, revisiting Jupiter into Taurus, so Jupiter into the bull. And you may ask yourself, but surely Jupiter has been already 12 degrees into Taurus. Why are you doing this? And so the reason I'm doing this has to do because the previous video has been taken down. So first of all, bless me, right, for doing something that is whistleblowing enough to get noticed, because I've been whistleblowing for a while and it didn't get noticed. And now I'm gonna do things more professionally, because it ain't like I ain't got the knowledge. It ain't like my thesis had nothing to do with it. It ain't like I ain't got the education, and it ain't like we ain't got the class lawsuits. But I'm going to explain that in a way that doesn't talk about particular study case, because when you get a name, you know the concept of the Tao that you can see is not the Tao. When you get a name, when you get a concrete study case, you have this one, that one. It's not the point, because there's there's an underlying principle there. And so, first of all, I want to talk about the astrology. And right now we are with both the midheaven and the 10th house ruled by Mercury. It's just separated from a conjunction with Lilith in the 12th house, and the sun in the ruler of those are in the 12th house. Okay, so things that can happen might get taken down again, might cause certain attention to my channel that is unwelcomed or whatnot. But why was the previous video taken down? So you can see it was a Jupiter into Taurus video, first of all. And not only is Saturn retrograde, okay, in Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter, but Venus just turned retrograde. And it was a Jupiter night. Okay, it was a Jupiter night yesterday where I'm at. And so my video with Jupiter, that is ruled by Venus now, got taken down. And for what? Something to do with medical information, okay? Something to do with the medical regulation over medical information. So very much this Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So Leo indeed is my 6th house. And what happened to me, I was putting, there was a heat waves, okay? And I didn't have no money for AC, so I just put a cold bottle and I put it on my spine. Literally, I wanted to align my spine and I needed something to cool me down. I knew that must not be the most intelligent thing to do. And then eventually I got cough and I got some, sinuses stuff. And so I know what it's from, okay? There's a probability that it's not from something else. And so it's kind of almost a genius remedy, kind of like, okay, I'll get a bit sick, but from this thing. And the funny thing, I think we have termites in our building, so the landlord called and I couldn't answer. And now I have this, well, I'm recovering from an ailment. I don't want anybody to get sick. Just let me know how we're going to do this. I'm also not at home and caring for somebody else. So a lot of health issues coming up. And so that was a very interesting phase. But now I want to talk about Jupiter in Taurus. And for the ingress, like we've been through that. Right now Jupiter is in 12 Taurus. I'm going to take it from today, basically. And I want to talk about the signification of Jupiter, of Taurus, of what we can expect from now on, okay? And address the very issues that I addressed in a way that's way more professional and way less susceptible to terror, right? So Jupiter, it rules the lungs. It's associated with the liver. It rules the feet and the legs and the hips, okay, by the merit of Pisces and Sagittarius, right? What's in Pisces? Sagittarius, we don't have anything right now. What's in Pisces? What's in Pisces is Saturn. Saturn is ruling the bones, the hair, the nails, the skeletal structure, and as the ruler of Capricorn, and as the ruler of Aquarius, the nervous system. Okay. Um, so this is for Jupiter. Okay, so when we talk about, now I want you to think about systems. How does the nervous system connect to the health of our bones, our nails, our hair, our teeth? Okay, what does Jupiter mean in astrology? Okay, the more holistic level. Jupiter in astrology is our kings, our teachers, our seamen, our seed, our philosophies, our religious faiths, our convictions, okay, our beliefs, what we strongly believe in, our sense of expansion and optimism, while Saturn is contraction. Okay, it's also spiritual teachings and such, but it's more on a contracting. Okay, Saturn is cold, it's very cold. Jupiter is lukewarm in temperature. And so you can see how Jupiter is also associated with fertility. Okay, and Venus. Okay, Venus. So Venus is ruling the throat, is ruling by the merit of Libra. Okay, Libra is associated with the kidneys. Okay, so throat and kidneys. Throat and kidneys. So our voice, our neck. What is in now? Now let's connect. Let's bring it all together. Okay, nervous system. Okay, voice, vagus nerve, which is a strong nerve that goes from our ears to through our neck, down our body. Okay, kidneys. Okay, liver, heart. Okay, liver, heart. Right now Venus is in Leo, so heart, eyes. Contraction and expansion. So how does our posture, our nervous system, our stress level affect our voice? What's in the lungs? So here's something you might want to know. Okay? The emotions associated with our internal organs, as per the Yellow Emperor book by, way back in the way back. And that's associated with Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicines. There's no such thing as Chinese medicine. There's various medicines. Okay? And the Yellow Emperor talks about the lungs as holding grief and fear. Okay? The liver, anger. Okay? The kidneys, anxiety. For the taste, Jupiter and Venus is sweet. We know what excess sweetness does to the teeth. And as per Saturn is what? Let's talk about temperature. Okay, now let's talk about temperature. Saturn, it's very cold. The cold temperature is associated. What do we put in cold temperature? Okay, food computers. What's a big computer that we have in our body? It's a neural network. Okay, once you start thinking in the terms that we're going to be using when Pluto arrives in Aquarius, we're neural network in our brain. Okay, the neurons in our brain. That's a computer. It needs cool temperature. Cool temperature is good for it, but also induces anxiety. Why? Excess thought, and you have that doom and gloom. Jupiter is expansion. Okay, how do we breathe deeply into the lungs? Okay, we expand our posture. We open up our heart, our chest. We allow our liver to have a place, right? We not going to go crunched up. We go align our spine. So basically to open up our heart and our chest, to be able to breathe deeply, basically to release, to both have presence in the body and have presence in our voice. Okay, you can see how my voice changes when I do that or when I do that. Okay, it's a lot less. I can have, I try to get an impact from here. I get angry. Why? Because I can't get an impact because I'm all crunched up. And you're listening only to my voice. Now I'm going to get into a better posture. I don't have to scream so loud. I don't have to scream so loud to be heard. Okay? So opening up, basically it's aligning the spine, Saturn, that gives place for the neck and the vagus nerve. So what's in the neck? We have the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve, we know, is associated with regulating our stress levels too. Because what happens when a person has trauma? Okay? What do you tell them? Why is acupuncture in the ear works? Okay? I have a fellow person who's dealing with CPTSD and has raises awareness through acupuncture in the ear. That's something that works for him a lot. Why? Because it's starting with the vagus nerve. And you go along the points, the pressure points, then you gain calm. For those of you who enjoy, that kind of sensual pleasure, if you're connected with Venus, is also very arousing and erotic, okay? So basically, sensual pleasure to our nervous system through our neck and our ears, okay? And through our feet, Jupiter, Pisces, allows us to dissolve ourselves from stress levels. For that, we need that to flow easily. So if we feel good around sensual, it's both about we open our posture and then we can enjoy presence and then we feel safer and then we can be playful. What happens to our pets when they feel safe? They get playful. Again, you see that the capture here that I made of Lizzie is basically the cat that owns the place. She got playful. She felt safe. She got playful. And that's what happens to us too as people. We feel safe, we're open, we open our spine, our liver can breathe, our internal organs can breathe. Basically like a cat, we show our belly, we go for belly rubs. And that is how we also heal. Okay? That being said, this goes from the inside out. Okay? From the outside in, we talk about circumstances around us. We need to be allowed to do that. We need to be allowed to be playful. We need to be allowed to walk barefoot on the soil. We need to be allowed to speak up. We need to be allowed to stand tall and breathe deeply. We need to be allowed to have clear air, because that's the air that we breathe within. Clear water, okay? Clear soil. Right? So we can process things. So Jupiter in Taurus here, with this constellation of Saturn in Pisces, reminds us of what keeps us in the body and how do we respond this with our voice to contraction. How do we liberate ourselves through our voice? Jupiter is also ruling Sagittarius' liberation. Jupiter is co-present with Uranus, that is also associated with nervous system and ideologies and revolution and chaotic non-linear systems. So basically, on a well-being level, we are tending to everything that allows us to breathe deeply, to sensually arouse our feet and ears and neck. I kid you not. Okay? To breathe fresh air, to travel, even if we are Venusian. Okay? The freedom for the Venusian. And I know Venus is ruling Ketu right now. Okay, so that's being challenged. How do we respond? How do we open our lungs? And how do we reach a position where we breathe fresh air? One good source of fresh air is the mountains. For the places where the mountains are still unexposed to toxins. Okay? When a person, let's say if you get a cough, what's the recommendation? Do you have a forest next to you? You want to walk barefoot in the forest. You want to align. And now Uranus, and this one, it's like, it's not that I didn't know it, but sometimes the person says it best, and you want to quote that person that says it best, and I will quote the person with Uranus on their ascendant. And one of the things that I heard Cameron say on Twitter is, you know, we do astrology, we call this deity, that deity. It's like, people, get your feet barefoot on the soil to align the electric activity of your nervous system that is overwhelmed. Get your feet barefoot on the fertile soil. Get grounded. Okay? And isn't that a lovely thing to remember with Uranus and Taurus? Get your feet on soil. Get your feet on fertile soil. You can't get your feet on fertile soil, you're in a problem. Set intention, pray to the lords, pray to the deities. Here we got both Uranus, astrology, astrological deities, and Jupiter. Whatever is your view of the divine, set a prayer. I want my feet, my healthy bare feet on fertile soil. I want to breathe fresh air in my lungs. I want to drink fresh water from the fountains of life. Okay? I want to eat the food that's been nourished by fresh water on fertile soil and well-fed crops. I want to grow them crops. That is we are still in those realizations. Okay, that is happening in the context of Rahu going into Aries. What is Rahu in Aries? New land, new ground, fertilizing the soil. There's something new. You're going towards the new. Innovate, starting something new. New settlements. Okay? Now with Rahu and Ketu, we need to remember, and I don't remember who was the person who emphasized this on Twitter, and they deserve a good credit because I was about to make this mistake too, and it's not just purging with Ketu. Okay? Yes, there is a Taurus we had in Rahu, but it's combining the Rahu and Ketu. We got Rahu on Venus sign. We got Rahu ruled by Venus. We got Rahu telling us you need soil, fertile soil. You need to learn if it's permaculture, if it's off-grid, if it's how do we get from my situation, point A, okay, maybe not so wealthy, maybe not so healthy, maybe not having the driving license in the countries that I need to, maybe not so portable, to that point where my feet are on fertile soil. Okay, how do I do that? And now we're not forgetting that. Now this goes to the back, and now we're heading to land. Now we need to think about the actual getting there. Getting there. Do it. Act on it. But what are we acting on? We're still acting on the Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus. Okay, it's still there. It's in the back of the mind, because now we have to think strategy. How do I get this? How do I do that? How do I help this person? How do I help myself? But basically, why am I innovating? Because I want my barefoot on the fertile soil, eating fresh air, drinking fresh water, eating the crops and the animals. If I'm eating animals and the fishes that grew in fresh water, in fresh air. nourishing, fertile soul, of course the weather is going to be really good, huh? Because if you maintain that balance, you need to learn how to be a part of this life in a way that is nourishing for us, then of course the weather is going to be great. Uranus teaches us that, and Jupiter is getting closer and closer and closer and closer to this Uranus. Now what do we see? We see trees getting cut. We see trees getting cut and cameras instead of them trees in them central cities. Okay? Now it gets to the point where that place that anyway we needed to get off grid. Okay? Anyway we needed to do these things. Now it's getting less and less comfortable to not do that. Okay? It's the contraction that pulls us into shooting off the arrow. I want to be on that land with those feet, breathing that air, drinking these waters. Here are the crops I'm going to grow there. Okay? How do I get there? Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? How do I get there? How do I live there? How do I take care of the in-between? Okay? How do I get food? How do I get energy? What type of energy? Okay? All the innovation. And Jupiter coming closer and closer to Uranus. And you need to remember this. If you had, let's say, a cough, which is very much lungs, right? What do you need? You need to go to the fresh air and you need to walk in the forest. What do you see in the forest? You see trees. You know, I remember when I was in university, which is a very ninth house place. I was a Me Too veteran. And even before that or after that, I was painting things when I was writing about medicine. So I was painting trees and I was looking at trees and I was like, trees are lungs. It's not just that they provide for oxygen. If you look at the branches of the tree and the leaves of the tree, it kind of look like lungs, depending on what tree you're looking at. I mean, if you're looking at the cypress tree, I understand it's difficult to see the similarity. But it's that understanding to open our lungs, we need to be with those trees that are also Jupiter ruled. So it's like the university was showing me where am I heading, and it was 8 years ago, okay, it took some time. Where am I heading? Some place where there are some trees there. Some place where I can rest my feet in the soil. I remember I was even in a hospital, and in the hospital I got people telling me, you need to ground yourself. You need to get your feet on the soil. So what I did, there were trees growing in this small bracket, so I stepped on that and I hugged the trees, and I was like, I'm in a crazy, like I'm in the place for the crazy, so I can do something crazy. And that was well, and soon enough I got out of there. Soon enough I got out of there. Okay? So that was something that worked. At any case, if you have, let's say, have even grief, anything with the lung, grief, or bitterness in the heart, if you say, oh, nature is the great remedy, it's not that animals don't kill animals. Okay, it's not that nature doesn't consume itself, but nature is also the source of life. And you want to bathe there. You want to set the intention. With Jupiter, Taurus, yes, right now Venus is retrograde. So it does mean that certain things are going to be taken away, but certain things are going to be refound. And you revisit what has helped me? What has helped my lungs? Okay, what has helped your lungs the most? You know, in Finland, they had a research about the immune system. And you know, Finland is very cold, so people would not go out to play all that much. But they discovered that the more you are playing in nature as a kid, the more you're exposed and your immune system gets stronger. Okay? And so how important it was so important that they started making sure children have playtime outside, even in Finland. It's a very cold country. Okay, but if you met with the soil, and if you fumble with the leaves and with the earth and with the snow even, then you get exposed to anything that lives in nature, even the micro beings that live in nature. I'm being very cautious with my words now. Okay, but this is something recent that they discovered in Finland, and they started applying it, and so children got healthier because their immune system got better. So definitely, if you have difficulties with your immune system, what you actually want to be is to try and see, how do I move out of the city to a more off-grid place? And that might work wonders for your well-being. It might not be possible right now. Okay, when I saw these, when I was looking and painting trees in university and saying, oh, trees are lungs, that was 8 years ago. It was 8 years ago. Okay, I'm still not living in a forest. Okay, these are processes, and I want you to understand that these are processes. But I also want you to understand that you are within a process, and you set in the intention. I want you to do and to set the intentions that are good for your lungs, that are good for your heart to open. Okay? Well, how can I grow more trees? How can I plant more forests? It's becoming more and more, we harbor a desire, and then we eventually, it's like a baby. We harbor a desire, then we birth it and we execute it. And this is what happens. Okay? I was standing on the soil where a tree grew in a hospital, which was like, it's like if you take two books and you open them together, if they're big books, that was the land. That was the land that I was stepping on, barefoot on the soil. But I definitely set that intention with my body, setting my feet on that soil and hugging that tree. I say, everybody here is crazy. If I do that, they don't say you are crazy, because I'm already in the place where the crazy are. Soon enough, I got out of there. So it's not just hugging the trees in the city, which is a possibility. Like, who knows, maybe somebody will mercy you and give you $1 if you do that. So you get $1. Now you can buy seeds. Now you can plant these seeds. You can put your finger in the soil. Okay? Just to get this finger in the soil, get me the soil that I need to live on. You'll be surprised. Okay? Trees are collaborative. If they know you're working with them, they're going to show you how to do the right things, and they're going to get you to where you need to be. Okay, you want to connect with the beings that are good, that are nourishing for your lungs. Trees are nourishing for your lungs. Get connected with trees. Okay? But the thing is that I got to a certain place, and I got to a new place. I was in between houses. Okay, I was in between houses for a lot of the whole eclipse cycle with my 9th house and 3rd house. Then I got to a place, but the first place I stayed after I got out of my place, and even in my previous place that I was renting, my neighbor, okay, she was recovering from something to do with the heart, and she basically was growing 2 pets and caring for family and planting all kinds of stuff in the yard of the building. So she was taking care of the building. It was looking great. It was like a villa in the jungle. I lived in a place where it's not developed, where the municipality does not invest, where the government does not invest, and she just took care of the place. It was like a villa in the jungle. And so I would get my feet on that soil, and I would speak to that neighbor, and I would give her plants. And I started growing my own plants, and when I moved, I gave her the plants that I had. This was a love tree and a money tree, basically. So now I got to this place a year ago, a year and something, almost 2 years, and there was this land plot. Nobody was doing anything with it. So there were some trees growing, and so I started growing stuff. First inside the house, then I was like outside the house. And the landlord was like, oh, you can bring these veggies, or you can bring trees here. And I was like, ooh, They like me doing this. I keep doing this. And now I'm growing my own soil that I can walk. Right now it's summer, so I need to be aware of them snakes and Scorpios and whatnot. Okay, so I gotta be cautious for my feet as well. It's a desert. But I'm growing crops in the desert, which is not a bad thing to do. And when the weather is good, then I can step with my bare feet on the soil because something grows it. And you know, I slept on the soil, just rested for a while, watched the stars. Then I went to bed. You can't imagine what a good night's sleep I had, because I was afraid to stay there the whole night. I didn't know who's in there. It's not a fence or something. So I went to bed, but I spent like an hour or two at least lying on the ground, on the fertile ground. It's only shrubs growing there, and watching the stars. Then I came back to bed. I had such a great night's sleep. Okay. Why? Why is this happening? Okay. Our nervous system is balanced by the touch of our bodies to the soil. And I bring Cameron again with the Uranus on his ascendant. Get your feet on the ground, ground yourself. Do you get all the Uranus Eurekas now that Uranus is in Taurus? Absolutely. The guy's right, absolutely. Okay? And those things, they're good. Right now with Jupiter in Taurus, what you want to do for your lungs is just that. How do you get your feet barefoot on the soil? Walk on the fertile soil with this humidity. Envision, okay, envision every day. Dedicate some time, envision of the forest, of the soil, of the ask, pray. Okay, pray. Put words to paper, voice. Okay, as this video is a prayer. Okay, that's good for your lungs. It makes you like sort of an angry person. If you're walking in the forest and you have this vast, vast greenery, evergreen trees. Okay? It's very, it's very difficult to sustain grudge. When you're holding a cup of wine, walking barefoot in the forest, in great temperature, knowing you have grass-fed, meat or fish to eat later, and fresh veggies, so you can pluck some, I don't know, cherries or berries or whatnot. It's very difficult to sustain grudge when you're in this situation. So how about we pray for all of us to be in this very sorry situation? That would do wonders to our immune system, to our nervous system, to our lungs, okay, to our throat. And then you get into the posture, the posture of the tree. But this is what you do. You stand with your 2 feet, it's shoulder width. Okay, the shoulders are Gemini, the hips are Sagittarius. You're straightening up your Sagittarius, Gemini, you stand there like a tree. And then the way you do that, we actually been taught that in a freaking hospital. The way you do it is you lift your hands up. First of all, you put your hands to the side, and then you stand there. If you got a friend next to you, they can try to push you gently, and then you stay. It's a centering praxis. Okay, you stand like a tree, you're centered. And that's good for your nervous system. Then you can lift your hands up, but you can keep your shoulder down. Lift your hands up, your shoulder down. Okay? What I want you to do is to take a look at your toes. If you have something to straighten your toes, make that stones that you find in the soil. Okay, to straighten your toes. And you see how that affects your spine. And you practice this as much as you can, even tending to this as much as you can. Okay? That's already strengthens your body. If you're Pisces ascendant like me and your health is like, okay, then do that as much as you can. Even gentle practice works. You set intention. Okay? Trees, they grow, they take a while. You're also growing a tree here. And if it's your well-being, if it's your vagus nerve that you need to reignite so that you can move more muscles, okay? So you can reignite the nervous system and you can connect it with more healthy frequencies, healthy vibes, a healthy soil. And you can set the intention, I want to be on that land, in this air, eating this food, in well-being, in joy. Okay? The Rahu in Aries, they're ruled by Mars, is going to get you to get there. It's going to show you the how to, the step by step by step. Because what is Mars? You search yourself. You say, I am. Okay. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am divine. I am a passionate human being who loves life. I am all these things. I am on a mission to nourish myself, to get to the point where I already have these things, okay? Or you can say it with the right now. I have these things right now. Look for the closest tree, get to the closest tree. Even in the city, grow something. Say you live in a room. Grow mushrooms. If you ain't got light, grow mushrooms. I'm not talking about psychedelics. Okay, just mushrooms. There are mushrooms that you can grow. Okay, you maybe you can't grow it anywhere with the sunshine. Okay, mushrooms, they grow up without the sunshine. Okay? And you ask these mushrooms, what do I need to do to get to a forest? How do I get to a forest in a way that's best, the easiest, and the safest for me and stay safe there? How do I get there? Those are the things that are going to contribute to your health, to your wealth, to your well-being. To your health, to your wealth, to your well-being. Okay. As Jupiter is approaching Uranus, what we're going to see on a mundane level is stuff like we're seeing, you know, Jupiter, Uranus together is a religious revolution. Okay? This is something that's going to happen. What else is Jupiter, Uranus? Why did I call it the big O of the sciences? Because Uranus is that eureka. Oh, I found an insight to get into non-linear chaotic systems and what we can apply that to. Boom. That changed my mind. I didn't know that was possible. Oh, you want to tell me that the trees are like webs that connect with each other underground. If I get one of them to connect with me, and I nourish them, and they nourish me, now I got so much connection that I didn't even think I have, and I'm so much wealthier. Because I'm gonna get ideas, because I'm getting into the neural networks of these trees to translate. Now I'm a part of them now. Gotta go by their rules, by the rules of the trees. Okay? That's Jupiter, Uranus. My faith, okay? My seed, where do I plant seeds? How do I nourish these seeds? And how do I go by? The forest is not a jungle. Okay? There are jungles, there are gonna be jungles there. With Jupiter, Uranus, it can absolutely be jungle, it's chaotic. But there is some sort of order that comes from that chaos. It's going to revolutionize our beliefs. Now, the context for Saturn being in Pisces, yeah, it's structures to do with health. What else can be structures to do with health? What did I just talk about in the beginning of this? I said trees, they're like lungs. Why? The structure, okay? Their structure, their branches, and then those leaves. It kind of looks like lungs. It's a structure of a health system. So I want to learn more about what's good for my lungs there, or what to do if I'm in grief, if I've lost someone, if I'm in pain. I better hug a tree. It has so much life It has so much life. It reminds me that there's so much living here for me to stay. And as a person who's growing things, I can tell you I grew 2 garlics, okay, and next to my door. I planted 2 cloves, one plant and then the other. One plant got all these leaves out, one plant got some leaves and then nothing, okay? That's grief. That's grief. But then there are the cases where I thought, oh, my garlic died. And then I digged up in the soil and said it didn't die. It was ready. It was 9 months. Now it's ready. Now I got garlic. Okay, you get, it's very emotional. It's very emotional. And you want to be surrounding yourself with a lot of life, of the living, that which is of the living. Think about the cats that are playing, you know, they take my cat played with basically with what I clean my floor with. Okay, it was lying there before the bathroom and they started playing with that. And it's just that, and they still won't let me touch them, so I can't buy them like a toy and play with them. But just watching this bursting life next to you, it takes your mind away for a second. It takes your mind away from the griefs. It takes your mind away from the worries. It takes your mind away from the ailment, and it allows you for at least the head space to let love in and let healing in. Those are healthcare systems. Those are also healthcare systems that are working okay. That everything is fine with them. Okay? You walk in the forest, you see animals playing, just having a good time. Everything is fine with this healthcare system. They don't need to change. It's just fine the way it is. It's an observation as well. And that's one other good thing that you can do for your lungs. Now, if you're there a lot, you're gonna be less and less with those things that promise to deliver, but they don't deliver as much. Okay, and you can say there's certain jobs, there's certain people, there's certain circumstances, but you put your heart and soul into it, and you know. And there are places where they do deliver as much. They do deliver as much. Watching your plants grow and you grow with them, it does deliver as much. Getting connected with the wisdom of the trees, of pine trees. Pine trees, they have a lot of sense of humor. They have a lot of sense of humor. Okay, these trees grow. How they grow? They just grow. There's something they can learn about, teach us about population. And we make paper out of them. We make closets out of them. We make furnitures. We make, probably some people live in cabins or houses. And what's special about pine trees? They grow, okay? They don't seek to multiply. They have the ability to multiply. And they have the pine cones. It's where the seeds are. If there is a fire, then the seeds go out. Okay, the cones are burned and the seeds go out, then they multiply. So if you burn a pine tree forest, it'll just multiply. You'll just have more pine trees. Okay, if you try to destroy them, then they multiply. Like these videos, there are gonna be 3 of them. You take one down, you're gonna have 7, 8 up in every different direction. Just gonna do it better. And they won't do it unless they have to. Otherwise, they just grow some pine trees and they can grow for as many years as they can grow, which is a lot of years. I mean, those are trees. And they just, they just stay there. They enjoy being a community of pine trees. They don't have to overpopulate to enjoy life. If God forbid something happens, then they know that all the cones, okay, which they have a lot of, and some animals eat them. So it's food in times of peace. But if God forbid something happens, then they make so many clones of them that they're going to grow an even bigger forest next time. Okay? And that's the power of a pine tree. The pine needles, they have vitamin C. They're very good for our health. They're good for our lungs too, because vitamin C is kind of like supporting everything, supporting the absorption of iron, supporting the absorption of vitamins. It's good with ADEC vitamins, okay? A, D, E, and C, which it's a part of ADEC vitamins, which supports the absorption. It's good for the skin. Okay, what do you do when you're sick in the winter? Get some vitamin C. Grab a couple of pine needles, wash them, boil them. You got the good vitamin C to amp up. Okay? Those are good things you can do for your lungs, for your liver. Now, if you begin to be playful, what else do we do with trees? We hang on trees. We make exercise with trees. You can push it, or they try to make a bridge holding the tree. Now you're already practicing your spine, you're already practicing your vagus nerve. By just being playful. That's all you really have to do. It is way less funny when you do it in the correct health system structure, which is in the forest. If you do these exercises in the forest and you hold on to trees, your immune system gets better because you're breathing the right air, and then your spine gets better, and you're just playing like a little child. Or maybe you're running after your children who are doing the same, and then you play with them. You have to play with them, because if you won't keep up with them, then they'll do whatever they want. If you keep up with them, then they look at you. And you learn something more about the trees. You learn about leadership. There's only one way that people will listen to you, and if they look at you, if their eyes are on you. And you better be doing something interesting. If your video has been taken down because you said some words that you shouldn't say, there are a billion ways to say the same thing. That's just one of them ways. There are a billion ways to say exactly what you have to say, using none of the words that they don't want you to use, and get the message across, even with more clarity. And you can see how sometimes that restraint, okay, on your words, as Mercury is approaching Virgo here, it will be approaching the opposition with Saturn, then this restriction on the voice, on the words, what does it create? It creates delving in. If I can't say it, but you think of it like a game, okay? So I can't say, the words that we can't say now, okay? But what can I say? I can say lungs. I can say liver. I can say feet on the soil. I can say fresh water. Okay? I can't say the F word. Okay? I can say fresh water, fresh air, feet on the soil, good ecosystem, eating what's growing there. I can say tea. Huh? I can say off-grid still. And those people that are connected with those trees, okay, we're gonna get connected with them. And I want to actually start with a story about Hariklo, because Uranus is approaching. It's on my lot of spirit is approaching my Hariklo. And Hariklo, I thank Astro Victor for pointing out this asteroid. You remember when I was doing these charts, and I was looking at the asteroids, okay? I was looking at the asteroids, and I would see, what is this car? I don't know, so it's Chariklo or Hariklo. Hariklo is from Greece. It's beautiful to express that with the Greek and feel fun, like you're in Send my blessings to Rhodes that has gone through fire. So for speedy recovery. So let's say you're in Rhodes, and let's say Rhodes has recovered already, and you're, drinking a fresh dark coffee, and you're just enjoying your time there, and listening to nice Greek music next to the beach, and you think about Chariklo. Then you're going to say Chariklo. You're not going to say Chariklo, you're going to say Chariklo, because it's Chariklo. And Chariklo is basically, I think she was the sister or the wife of Chiron. I don't remember. She's in my third house, so it's kind of funny that I say sister or wife. It's ruled by Venus with me. So with Chiron dealt with the physical health. Now Chiron in Aries, innovating health. Okay, what the doctors say, what the shamans say, some of it is good, some of it is and you gotta sift and sort and make stuff for yourself there. Chariklo is not a physical one, it's on a soul level. So you think about the songs, but you also think about the nervous system and in less physical meaning. So you think about consciousness, whether as emerging or as designing. Because Chariklo is now in Greece. In Greece. Chariklo is now in Greece. That's lovely. I need to delineate that, but in Aquarius. In Aquarius. Okay? And in Aquarius, we have the mass central system, we have humanity and mass, and she's bringing health and healing. Is considered feminine. I know it is a very problematic thing to say feminine, but I don't have other words for it. Feminine energy. So it's a type of energy healing that is more on an energetic, emotional level. And here she connects with our nervous system. She can heal our nervous system, so we can get connected with Chariklo. And immediately, as I said that, I got my shoulders kind of opened and my spinal cord kind of knocked. She is kind of helping to align the physical through the non-physical. Okay, that's also something you can do for your nervous system, especially those of us who are dealing with something that takes a long time to heal. Okay, so maybe something to do with the lungs, something to do with the nervous system, endocrine system that takes some time to heal. Or even things that affect our semen and ovaries, okay, like menstruation, maybe some interferences. Well, we see you have toxins from here, toxins from there. It takes a couple of cycles to heal. But we can still tend to them, and we can still align our bodies correctly and call for both the physical and that which is not physical. We can say spiritual, you can say it's even music, it's art, it's prayer. Those things are also very, very helpful. So if you have toxins in your body, okay, anything that you can do from what I said is good. Anything that you can do is good. You're going to get what I say, some of it may be good for you, some of it may be wrong for you, some of it, I cannot tell, right? I cannot tell. But what I can tell is what we can do. Surely some of that you can tend to, surely some of that you can do, even if it is by setting intention, even if it is by listening to this video again, and try to see, or even if put in that video, put in that energy again. Those are some things you can do. And as Jupiter is proceeding its path, expanding on those themes that are Taurian, so land, agriculture, cows, the meat that we eat, okay, how is it grown? Do the things that we eat get to live a good life before we eat them? It's important, right? The voice, the art, that which is beautiful or aesthetic, physically pleasing, our sensual pleasure. How do we open the gates to enjoy these while we are doing our Rahu in Aries. Well, we're not forgetting this, but actually we are activating our drive and passion and innovation to get even more connected with these. And as Jupiter, Uranus come here, they remind us of the central nervous system of the forest, literally, okay, because Jupiter is trees, Uranus is something, a nervous system of something en masse, and Taurus is land, so many trees on land having a certain nervous system that we can connect to and derive our healthcare systems from and with, rather than on the account of. And that has been a very creative video, considering that Venus is retrograde in Leo, which will probably stay, but you know that there are as much seeds as as much cones for pine trees, and as much seeds in each coin as many videos, as many platforms, and as many channels, and as many connections, and as many trees to say, to sing, to tell, to send in energy in the physical and beyond the physical. Thank you.